Beepy weepy.
What's up, guys? I just spent about 3 weeks in Florida at my parents' house, visiting for the holidays, and I recouped some video games. I believe I have like 24 here. So, without further ado, let's start with some Wii games. Number one, Dead Space Extraction. This is the on rails shooter spin off of the Dead Space series. It was exclusive on the Wii for a short period of time, or maybe it released in tandem with Dead Space 3 on the PS3. I know that one included like a code to play this game, but I guess the definitive way of playing this game is, of course, with the Wii Zapper up there, up to 2 players. I've only briefly checked out this game, but something about this game being a spin-off inspired me to just bring it back home with me up here to integrate it into the collection. Let me know what you guys think about this spin-off. Is it good or is it trash? I think I've heard like mixed reviews. The Calling, published by Hudson. I was trying to make a point in recovering as many horror games this trip for some reason, not really sure, but particularly on the Wii. I don't know, this is giving me some like Fatal Frame, Silent Hill vibes. Not sure if it's any good, but I vaguely remember adding this to my collection a long time ago and just never playing it. So here it is. Let's keep up with the horror theme so far. Obscure, The Aftermath. This is a series that I'm unfamiliar with, to be honest. I know it's on several platforms. Is this a spin-off? Is this just the Wii port with a different subtitle? Not really sure, but I heard it's actually a decent co-op experience. So if you have a buddy or a relative that you want to play this game with, I heard that's kind of the way to go. So maybe I'll drag the wife into a playthrough for this one. Maybe on some co-op streams for Halloween in 2025. Silent Hill Shattered Memories. Another horror game here. If I'm not mistaken, this is a port of the very first Silent Hill on the Wii. I did play this very many years ago, very briefly, because I'm not a huge fan of horror games, just because I'm a big scaredy cat. But I like the way that they integrated the Wiimote speaker into this game to introduce some like immersion, right? You hear like static when there's monsters around, and you wave around your flashlight with the Wiimote, so that sort of experience here. There's these weird like nightmare sections in the game that you have to run away from the monsters. You're largely defenseless, I think, in this game. So all you got is running away, and that's kind of like the only evasive maneuver you have. I don't think there's too many weapons or stuff like that. But yeah, Silent Hill Shattered Memories. This game is getting harder to find, I think. So I wanted to put it in the collection up here and stare at it. This is not a horror game. Hey, but it's also published by Hudson here. We got Kororinpa, Marble Mania. This is kind of like think of Monkey Ball without the monkeys. And you're just a marble, and you're kind of tilting the Wiimote like this. You got to lay it flat on your hand or something. The Wiimote is essentially the stage, right? So you tilt it to navigate the marble through the maze obstacle course thing. And there is a part 2 to this game, which I heard is trash because the controls aren't as responsive. And in a game like this, you really need tight controls or else you're in for a bad time. But this is a game that intrigued me just because it's a little bit quirky. I have played it. Pretty fun. I do recommend this if you're into those sort of like monkey ball style of games, but get this one, not the second one. One last Wii game. We got New Super Mario Bros. Wii. So turns out I had like 3 different copies of this game. One in the white case, which I actually gifted to my brother It was factory sealed. That was one of his Christmas presents, and this one I attained through other means, but this is the red case variant, which is pretty neat. So there it is. And then I also have the cardboard sleeve version of it. This one right here, which I believe was a console bundle pack-in or something. I'm not sure if it ever came with a manual, but it's fine because I have the manual in here. A nice beefy manual, but yeah, 3 copies of the same game. Really fun. This is when Nintendo introduced the whole simultaneous multiplayer in a 2D platforming Mario adventure, which might be rage-inducing to a lot of perfectionists out there, but could be a lot of fun with some friends, a significant other, what have you. I've checked it out very briefly. My brother and I beat World 1 during my vacation, and yeah, I mean, it's just Mario goodness riding Yoshis and the propeller power-up and that sort of thing. Really fun. Good stuff here. I like the little holographic Wii emblem on the top there. Very cute.
We're just blazing through this video here, guys.
Wii U game. We got the dual pack here, the SteamWorld Collection. We got SteamWorld Heist and SteamWorld Dig, a fistful of dirt. I was mainly inspired to get this game because of SteamWorld Heist, which is a very interesting and unique, I guess, turn-based strategy game. You're on a 2D plane and you kind of have free aim, and you use like ricochet off walls to basically defeat the enemies, and it's really fun. SteamWorld Dig I've heard good things of, and I think both these games now have part 2s, or maybe this one is for Heist. That one's coming out a little bit later in 2025. But I think there is a SteamWorld Dig 2, maybe. I don't know. And that one's more of a Metroidvania, I've heard. And yeah, there's a lot of those Metroidvania games nowadays. It's a very saturated genre. So this is one of the earlier ones. Once developers started catching on to, hey, people like Metroidvanias, so let's make one. Yeah, that sort of thing. Nice package deal here. I do have a save file in Heist that I need to pick back up and maybe beat sometime this year. The last Wii U game that I recouped from my Florida collection. Ooh, we got Legend of Zelda, The Wind Waker HD. Still factory sealed here. I did purchase this a long time ago when I got really big on collecting, and I beat Wind Waker on the GameCube. That was actually my very first Zelda game that I ever beat, and just the ability to play it in high definition and possibly stream it via the Wii U gets me pretty excited. This is an excellent Zelda game. The visuals have held up even on the GameCube version, right, with their cel-shaded style. A very, very awesome game. I highly enjoyed it. I'm sure if I get back into this, the nostalgia is going to hit, because I was kind of a wee lad when I first played it. And yeah, just kind of like the Zelda tropes and environments, the music, all of that culminates very nicely into a very seminal Zelda game, in my opinion. Everyone talks about this game. They love it. And I'm excited to rip the seal on this sometime, maybe this year, and give it another playthrough. I got a lone GameCube game. For some reason, my memory would keep coming back to Spider-Man on the GameCube whenever I would think of my GameCube days. I remember my brother got his copy on the PlayStation 2, and we basically played it at the same time. And this was back when the Xbox version of the same game had the exclusive content with the Scorpion guy or something. And that was kind of one of my first tastes in exclusive content, platform based like console platform based exclusivity, and I thought that was kind of lame. The game itself loosely follows the plot of Spider-Man 2001 movie. Is it 2002? Not really sure. Come to think of it, this player's choice version may not have been my childhood copy. It may have. And I'm kind of saying that because there was a dark moment in my life when I sold off like my entire GameCube collection and my GameCube for like $7 to play and trade. Darn you, guys. You shouldn't have done that to a small child. But also this case looks a little grimy. I took way better care of my stuff back in the day, but I will definitely be diving back into Spidey's adventures here. Nowadays, we have the very AAA experiences with Miles Morales and Spider-Man 1 and 2 released in the past few years on next-gen consoles or current-gen, PS5 stuff. And those games are supposedly amazing. I haven't gotten into them, but maybe I can start off with this one just to kind of temper my expectations a bit. Spider-Man was one of my favorite superheroes and probably my only one. I'm not huge on superheroes or anything like that, but Spidey is pretty sweet. We'll do some Game Boy Advance titles. I don't know if you guys recall, but when I recouped my entire GBA collection minus 3, well, spoilers, the 3 that I didn't have the space for are now on this video. I'm happy to finally have my entire Game Boy Advance collection up here in my new home after 5 long years, basically. Yeah, we still have a lot of games back in Florida. A lot of games, but like my entire GameCube library. I'll spare you the details. There's a lot of games still down there, but here's Super Mario World, Super Mario Advance 2. This is the port of the Super Nintendo amazing, awesome, timeless classic, but shrunk down into a smaller aspect ratio, if I'm not mistaken. The Game Boy Advance obviously has a 3-inch screen or something. So some concessions had to be made in this title and the next two that I'm going to talk about, because there simply wasn't enough real estate on the screen to cram everything in there. So these are not the best ways to experience these titles, simply because the screen's cut off. Sometimes you're doing leaps of faith. You don't know what's underneath you. Sometimes you don't know what's on top of you. Not great, but in my opinion, must-haves for your Game Boy Advance. Then we have Yoshi's Island Super Mario Advance 3. Yep, the port of Yoshi's Island. Touch Fuzzy, Get Dizzy might still be in its original, unaltered / uncensored state in this version of the game. Love me some Yoshi. I loved this game so much when I played it. I think I was too young and dumb to realize that this was pretty much a port of the Super Nintendo version, because I kind of treated this as a whole new experience whenever I did play this on the Game Boy Advance.
What an idiot, right?
And then finally, on the Game Boy Advance collection, finally complete up here, we have Super Mario Bros. Advance 4, or Super Mario Bros. 3, and this version included some bonus level cards inside. Let's do a live unboxing to see if I actually kept those intact there, or if I misplaced them or put them somewhere else. While I'm doing this, though, I will say that if you were to download the... Well, I think it's much too late for this, but on the Wii U, the... Nice and minty. The online shop on the Wii U offered you a chance to purchase this game digitally, and that version included the e-reader cards. So I would almost say that this is the way to play this game on the Wii U, at least. This is always nerve-wracking doing this. There's a game inside. Sorry if kind of this is off camera. Oh, look at that. Look at that. Those are those are the two. Yeah, you get a bonus level card and a power-up card included, and I think those would be random. Because I have item 3, the Super Leaf. There you have it, the power-up card. Very nice artwork. That's super cool. I'm probably going to keep this inside the box. And then you have your level card right there. And this is the Wild Ride in the Sky. So yeah, all levels would be included in the digital version that you could download on the Wii U, and it's such a Mario experience, right? Super Mario Bros. 3 was arguably the best in the series. A lot of people would say. So there it is, nice and protected. And I'm super happy to have all my Game Boy Advance games in one place at one time now. We have a couple PS2 games brought back from the collection. Onimusha 2, Samurai's Destiny. Oh man, I think a new Onimusha game was recently announced and it looks so cool. This was essentially Resident Evil with samurais. I remember spectating my brother do a whole playthrough of this. The final battle is absolutely epic. The environments, the combat, it's all so cool. I have a lot of nostalgia attached to this game. I've never actually done a playthrough on it myself, so that's something that I'm going to try and tackle this year as well. The protagonist, I forget his name, but he's an absolute badass. And this is a really cool series, and I'm glad they're bringing it back. The last PS2 game that I brought up with me is Virtua Fighter 4 Evolution or something. This game, I feel like every Virtua Fighter is very similar. Like the characters are always wearing the same clothes, and you're always fighting in the same venues or something like that. But I remember there's this one really cool, like a cage fighting level, in which you fight like this crazy luchador dude. I think his name's like Wolf or something, some red-haired freak, and yeah, just a cool fighting game. I think the Tekken series is better, but Virtua Fighter has its fans and it has some pretty good merit. I'll be popping this one in just for some nostalgia's sake. Got a few PS3 games, one of which being Alice Madness Returns, an American McGee game. There's something about this cover art. I think there's cover variants on Alice. Like in some, she's holding a knife. On different covers, she might be holding like a different weapon. But this is a 3D action platformer, if I'm not mistaken. Very kind of a bleak and gloomy take on the otherwise blissful and happy universe of Alice in Wonderland. This is a darker take on it. This game has been going up and down in value and that sort of thing. Look, online passes were a thing back then, but here's my copy of it. I want to check this out. It has kind of a cult following, I think, and it just looks pretty neat. Oh boy, one of my favorite PS3 games of all time, and possibly a top 10 favorite game of all time. We got Battlefield Bad Company 2, the limited edition strap-in for riveting little tale here that I want to share with you guys. Might not even be interesting, but Battlefield always had the back seat, or maybe back then it did, to the Call of Duty franchise, right? Battlefield was kind of plan B. Call of Duty very much took the helm as being the most popular online first-person shooter, at least on consoles it did. And at some point, I just felt completely betrayed by Call of Duty. I think it might have been around Modern Warfare 2 days, and I was like, screw it. I'm going to try Battlefield Bad Company 2 then. Because I'm sick and tired of the kill streaks, and I want some more realism in my gameplay. And maybe larger scale battles and with vehicles and that sort of thing. And this game caught me by complete surprise. At first, it took some adjusting to get used to the new pacing of the game. This one was slower, much more methodical. People weren't running around with like akimbo Uzis and throwing knives at you. This one was more realistic. And me and my cousin DJ must have spent at least a couple years just playing the online multiplayer. Search and Destroy, or Rush, or whatever it was called, where you had to defuse the bombs and put C4s on UAVs. And oh man, just so many awesome memories. And from this point on here, Bad Company 2, I was a huge Battlefield fan. Went on to buy Battlefield 3, 4, maybe not Hardline, but just a bunch of other Battlefield games because of this game right here. Man, lots of memories. The campaign mode is actually really sweet. I want to do another playthrough of it just to relive some memories. And I actually still need Bad Company Part 1. That game eludes me, and I've heard that, the campaign mode in that game is also very neat. So this is one of my favorite games of all times, y'all. Here it is. Let's do some PS4 games. No particular order. We got Yakuza 6, The Song of Life. This is the Essence of Art edition, which includes a hardcover book featuring more than 20 artworks from the Yakuza community. Okay. So some like fan art. Something tells me that the Yakuza series has potential to be one of my favorite series of all time. And I've only really experienced Like a Dragon Part 1, and I love the in-universe lore and the character development and just like the overall production value that is put in that game. And again, I haven't played the mainline Yakuza games, which are
3D brawlers?
And I love those sorts of games. So something tells me that this series could really grab me and suck me in. So I don't know. I don't know in what order I need to play these games in. Are they all tied? Let me know, please. I need to do some research on how to experience these games. But here I have Part 6. And here I have Yakuza 0. The one that I left back home is Yakuza Kiwami. And that one's on PS3. But anyways, here's 0. So yeah, more 3D brawling. I'm excited for this. I believe this might be the one to start with, chronologically speaking, for the story to make sense to me. Or maybe it's Kiwami. I'm not sure. Again, I need to do some research, but something told me let's get some of the Yakuza games up here so I can finally play them. Another series which begs my attention. And look at the slipcover. Pretty cute. Yeah, this game I have never played. I've never played any of the BioShocks, and here you have the collection. It's over $100 in value. Look at that. So you got BioShock, then BioShock 2, and BioShock Infinite. For some reason, they're listed like this. Is this the chronological order of the story? Not sure. But, classic ambient first-person shooters. I need to check this game out. The series, I need to. I feel like it's an essential game to experience. So I brought up the collection with me. It's still factory sealed there. And, yeah. I'll let you guys know what I think. One last PS4 game, and this is more so kind of, I guess you could call it like a passion project. Not really. I had Helldivers Part 1 up here, but it was missing the case. This is back when I had to transport as many games as possible on my move up here, right? So I put them all in like a CD carry case, but I left behind the cases. And as we all know, Helldivers is a series that rocketed in popularity towards the beginning of 2024 with their excellent third-person online co-op horde shooting gameplay that I devoted hundreds of hours to already. and now even more recently, the Illuminate, the third enemy faction, has just come out. But even before then, I was a Helldivers hipster, right? Are we still using that term? This game came out in 2015, and it was an isometric online co-op horde shooter with the stratagems and all the cool stuff, and just such an amazing game. I had a blast playing Helldivers Part 1, so much so that I couldn't dishonor it any further, and I had to get the copy that I had up here complete. So here it is. I can finally slip it into the bookshelf and have it on display. 9 out of 10. Exhilarating. Final Fantasy VII. We got the Black Label edition. This is a game I attained when I was getting into collecting. There's some scuffs on it here. It's fine. So long as it's Black Label and it's complete with its 3 discs and manual. Very happy to own this game. To be honest, I'm not sure if I would play it here on the PS1 or just enjoy it on the dual pack that I have on Switch, just because of the quality of life improvements that version provides. But if I wanted the most authentic experience, I guess it would be with this version here, and the disc swapping and the random encounter rates being unaltered and all that good stuff. Cloud Strife, humongous staple in the video game world. Yeah, here he is, and his adventure. I need to get the remasters of this game, the re-releases, whatever. I'm sure they're going to come out with like some sort of collection that has them all instead of just the piecemealed releases that we're seeing now. Yeah. And then, of course, we have Final Fantasy VIII. I had forgotten these big case PS1 games when I brought my entire PS1 collection that other trip, but I think I simply just didn't have the space for them because these are some chunky boys. And this one's actually missing the manual. Oh god, I need to get it. For some reason, I have more nostalgia or more just like fond memories of Part 8 over 7. I always experienced the Final Fantasy games vicariously through my brother because I would just spectate him play them. And something about the improved graphics in this one. The music was also really cool, and I thought better than Part 7. I don't know. That's probably just nostalgia speaking, but this is a really cool game. And like I said, this one actually has 4 discs as opposed to 7, which has the 3. So I guess maybe a bigger game, or is it just all the graphics and cutscenes that took up the memory on the discs? But also part of the dual pack, and I have a save file on that Switch dual pack, so I'll probably just continue playing it on there. But it's nice to have this on the shelf. And last but not least, Parasite Eve 2. I'm very close to beating Part 1. I've been very close for the past 3 years. I just haven't touched it. The final boss kind of sucks. But this one kind of switches up the gameplay a little bit, right? I think the kind of like RPG turn-based action of Part 1 is slightly altered in this one, and this one's a little bit more action and less turn-based. I might be incorrect on that. This thing only uses a single memory card block. That's incredible for a 2-disc game. But yeah, kind of like Resident Evil, but not really. Squaresoft. Cool stuff. Alright guys, well let me know what you thought of the chosen ones for this trip when I visited family for the holidays. Happy New Year, by the way. Looking forward to streaming a lot of these games and kind of diving back into them even offline just to experience them all over again, as I have had very many fond memories with a lot of the titles that I've shared with you today. But stay tuned for a big pickups video coming up. It should be good stuff. Leave me a comment. Love responding to those, and I'll catch you guys very soon. Okay, bye.